Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Van Tyne here with Ted Ings. We are at Uber World Headquarters here in New York at the World Trade Center. And Ted, today we are going to be talking about mobile service, remote service operations, and rideshare.
And Sarah, we have the leaders literally in the industry, so really fortunate to have them. Sarah, I'm going to let you go ahead and get the first question started.
All right, well, Ed, I want to come to you first because when you were talking about mobile service, what role is it playing in your fixed ops strategy today, and how are customers responding?
Mobile service is something that our customers have been asking for decades. We just never responded to it. And from the standpoint of the dealer standpoint, we focus on the glamour of the business, and the glamour of the business is the sales side. And the sales side may happen once every 5 years, depends on what that sales cycle is. But ultimately it takes hours, maybe days, sometimes weeks or months. But the ownership cycle is what takes time. And the ownership cycle is what we get an opportunity to visit that customer over and over and over again and truly build a relationship. And what better place to build that relationship than in a place that they're comfortable with in their own home. When we can show up there, we own that customer forever. I could tell you what, I'm there to classify the customer so I could know what I could sell them next time, whatever. No, we're there to build that relationship and create an opportunity to have a lifelong customer.
And Jim, thinking about the market here and what you're seeing, what role is mobile playing in your business?
Mobile service has been a big expansion tool for us. We've been able to expand our capacity in our service department without brick and mortar construction. So each bay, each van represents a bay on the road. It's a mobile bay. And the convenience level, as Ed said, you're meeting the customer on their terms, on their location, whether it be their home, their work of business, their place of business. It's a convenient transaction that repeat and referral business really kicks in high gear at that level. So the expansion and the convenience level is really where our focus is with mobile service.
Tom, what are you seeing today?
So I think one of the visuals that Brian Benstock used earlier just really drove it home for me. You see the number of competitors that a customer has to drive by in order to get to a dealer, right? So we're not always the most convenient place in the world. They're going to drive past tons of competitors on their way to work or on their way home. Mobile service and pick up and delivery, those sort of things give us a leg up on the competition because we eliminate 99% of those competitors if we're just going to go to you and pick up that car, get the work done.
And Nolan, what are you seeing with your customers and how have they been responding?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Ed said, we're going where they're comfortable. So we've changed, and you have to change the mindset, right? But we're changing from forcing customers to do business on our terms, doing business on their terms, making ease of transaction, everything's convenient for them. So we've seen great success with it.
And Matt, we're here today at Uber, and of course, Uber is playing a big part in mobile service and fixed op strategies for dealerships. How are you seeing customers responding when this is paired with rideshare solutions like Uber?
We're seeing a lot of dealerships CSI scores skyrocket. Customers love it. They can have their car picked up by an employee, brought back to their house by an employee, and that dealership's using Uber to transport that employee back and forth. Or if you drop your car off, instead of waiting for a shuttle van, most of the customers are jumping in an Uber and heading right back home.
Excellent. And Troy?
So we've learned a lot over 10 years with 3.5 million services ourselves as a company. We're pivoting and taking on some great partners up here and some here in the audience and learning a lot from them as well, giving them the tools and technology from the software to consulting and educating where we're at. Here's a quick stat for you. Ford, we know, is probably the most aggressive with mobile. 2.5 years ago, they were doing about 20,000 customer experiences a month. Today, they're at 300,000. Okay, and that's half between pickup and delivery and half mobile service. So it's a pretty big number. So it tells you what's happened over at least the 2.5 years.
And can I ask some of the folks up here, because you are the leaders, can you tell us about how many mobile units you have today? And if you don't mind, tell us where Bozart is.
We operate 41 mobile units daily.
Well, 41.
Yes. We have 11, and we're adding 3 on this year.
Jim, I remember when you had 2 or 3.
Everyone starts with 1.
And it went out. By the way, Ed, do you see that number going up in the future?
I foresee that number being in the hundreds, yes.
Yeah. Tom Druzynski.
So we're at 7 and climbing. We're not at end numbers, but get that.
Well on your way.
Yeah, correct.
Yes. And Nolan.
We have 33.
33 on the road every day.
Well, and something unique about yours, you run multiple shifts with them.
We have 3 shifts. Yeah, we do a 4 a.m. to 12. We do a 7 to 5, and then we do a 2 p.m. to 12 at night.
So how many mobile ROs last year?
Between the 2 stores, 35,000.
Wow. We were waiting Colby on the phone, and I said, "You're from where?"
Yeah, you wouldn't think
We had no idea you were flying under the radar.
Yeah, yeah, we have teams, and we work in multiple states every day.
Troy, do you see this kind of growth going on all over the country?
Yeah, I mean, it starts, like they said, he started with one van, 41. I think what it shows is the customers are out there, they're looking for this, whether it's fleet, recall, or D2C. So we are definitely seeing a pickup. I think 25 is going to be the year, for sure.
And Matt, Uber is a big part of this because a lot of the dealers look at the ROI of having one van or having 3 or 10 or 30. There's a tremendous ROI in terms of, you mentioned customer satisfaction as well, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, I think having a lot of your customers satisfied goes a long way. We see, I mean, just in sales here, we go to a dealer's Google My Business page, Google Reviews, and a lot of dealers are getting slammed. Customers are sitting there for an hour and a half, especially if you're in a major metro area. You're sitting there for an hour and a half waiting for your shuttle van to get back. Nobody's speaking with them. With the Uber product, you know, they're waiting there for 7 minutes. They're heading home. And I think just the experience is, you know, it's changed. The dynamic has changed. A lot of the customers, they're happy to come back. They're in and out of your store instead of sitting there for 2 hours to, you know, get service.
ROI in terms of customer satisfaction. Jim Sabino, how's that working out here in New Jersey?
Customer satisfaction has skyrocketed as a direct result from remote experiences. So pickup and delivery mobile service is considered a remote experience. 5-star Google reviews, net promoter scores from the manufacturer surveys have skyrocketed solely directly because of mobile service and pickup and delivery.
You're in Bergen County, Route 17, New Jersey. Those customers dig the mobile service.
They do. Tough crowds, but when you please them, convenience, and you provide a level of basically seamless and on their terms, you win. You win the game every time.
Ed, I had no idea that you can go an entire month with the fleet that you have and have perfect or near perfect CSI. Ed, that's unheard of.
Customers embrace it, and we talk about ROI. We can measure each truck, and we do, and we can do all those things. But truly, at the end of the day, what does it affect? It affects our customer acquisition cost. Mm-hmm. That's what it affects. And that's unmeasurable when you try to look back at that at mobile, but that comes from the loyalty element of it.
And just in thinking about, and Tom, I'd love to get your perspective. When you're talking about technician productivity and then customer satisfaction, as Ed was mentioning, now the repair bay is on the go. How do you balance, you know, some of these solutions to really keep the customers happy?
Well, it's nice because there are many times when you need to expand, right? We heard Margo say there's not a shortage of technicians, right? I don't, in most of our stores, we don't have a shortage of technicians. I have the opposite. I need more space. I either need to be open more hours or I need to be able to leverage mobile services, pick up deliveries, do work outside of the store. You know, thanks to the handy dandy little computers that we all keep in our pockets, you're never going to have a price or a product advantage again, right? The new battleground is customer experience. And that's a word that you've heard up here across the board is experience, right? And that's what it's about, is driving that customer experience. If those customers are happy and they're having that good experience, it sets us apart. They're going to do more service. They're going to come back. They're going to spend more money. They're going to buy more cars. And it's going to keep our technicians busy.
And Troy, what are other solutions dealerships should be implementing that enhance technician productivity?
So I just think it's whatever their strategies are. I think one thing we heard on the panel earlier is about acquisition play. So think in a mobile environment, when you go to a customer's house, you can not only give an appraisal on that vehicle, they probably have a second car in the driveway. So if that is your strategy, that gets you eyes on a car that you may never have saw. So again, I had some background with appraising a lot of cars in my previous life. So I do think it's a strategy for sure.
And let me tie on that a bit, because yes, most driveways are split, and it gives us the opportunity to appraise that car as well. But also, they know what kind of service experience they're getting with that brand of vehicle, and it ain't the same service experience that they're getting with the vehicle that you're there servicing. So it's the opportunity to acquire that customer, and that's what really drives down that customer acquisition cost.
Jim, how do you qualify which repairs or maintenance can be done with the mobile unit versus in the shop?
Ford has a little mobile service friendly program that they use that assists us with recalls. They identify just under 70% of all recalls from Ford and Lincoln are able to be performed on the road. So that's a great percentage for the end user, the customer, because we can come right to their location where it saves them the trip into the dealership, which again, a lot of customers don't like to come into the dealership for various reasons. Some do, but if you can come to their house or place of business and take that pain point away from them, you win that customer. And most likely you got to come away with an appointment. And then it gives you a chance for vehicle acquisition. It gives you a chance for multi-point inspection. If there's any other work that needs to be done, possibly there on the road, we keep our vans stocked with some parts, some quick, easy moving parts. And if it's a little heavier work, then we'll schedule, pick them a delivery and get that car back into the shop. So there's a lot of opportunity there. You have to get the appointed set and you win.
Something that Nolan mentioned to me is that he's really focused a lot of this on the commercial customer, all right?
Correct.
Speak to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, we put most of our focus on fleet. We're about 70-30, 70% fleet, 30% customer. We just find that, we're really creating a solution to their problem. We're eliminating downtime. Fleets cannot be down. So the minute that they're down, we go out, we fix the vehicle, we get them back on the road. And that has been huge for us and our operation.
You know, Troy, a lot of the folks who are up here on the panel, it's kind of been like the Wild West because they kind of had to develop this as they go, okay? But now they've
We got partners.
the ingredients. What are you saying?
They learned from our mistakes. Early on, we learned a lot over these 10 years. And so through our technician feedback, everything to how to upfit a van correctly, through technicians, not someone at a corporate office saying, here's a van, go run mobile. So we constantly will sit down with teams like Ed and as service advisors and learn what do they want in an application. Great partners with Reynolds in Ed's example, where they've been open with their software for us. As again, you watch service advisors jump from one system to another, and that's clumsy and complicated, and people don't like that. So they've been great partners and have opened up their software for us.
I want to touch on one point that makes all of this possible, and that's really the digital tools. And there's a lot of different uses that we're seeing in the industry. Matt, I'd like to come to you first. How are digital tools like mobile service, rideshare integrations, how are these shaping the future of automotive?
I think it's becoming more of a norm at a lot of dealerships, whereas about 4 years ago, you would speak to a dealership, they would say, this is crazy. Nobody's gonna do it, nobody's moving my customer. But as times advance, I think a lot of dealerships are focused on volume, getting customers in, having them enjoy the experience. And one of the best ways you can do that is with rideshare. And not only moving customers, but moving parts. Uber allows dealers to move parts between sister stores, without having to have a van or have an employee drive those parts back and forth. So where I see a lot of it shifting towards is the rideshare.
And Ed, when we're talking about digital tools, there's a lot of other components that go into making this possible for the customer.
When you take that whole platform and tie it together and then have partners like Reynolds and Spiffy that can analyze that information, we got the vehicle data, we have the inventory of the van, we have the telematics of where those vans are. Now we can choose the right van that's in the right location with the right parts on it, with the right technician to go to that vehicle and take care of it in a timely manner. And that no one person can calculate all together. You need partners to be able to pull that information together and analyze it for you.
And Nolan, in your operation, 3 shifts, how do you coordinate all of this with digital tools?
That's tough, but we've just partnered with Spiffy, so moving forward, we'll be working with Troy and his team to help streamline a little bit, but it is tough. I mean, we have it structured, we have managers, coordinators that set up the day, but there's a lot of moving pieces, so the partnership with Spiffy is well needed for sure.
Nolan, I've heard that Spiffy offers tracking and software that has capabilities that really nobody else has out there. Is that one of the things that you saw in Spiffy?
Yeah, well, similar to what Ed said, just identifying the right van, the right tech, the proper route to take, because that all makes a difference. So we're looking forward to it.
Want to speak?
Yeah, just we look at efficiencies. If we're, get into a dealership and we're starting to look at your ROs and you want to grow from 3 to 5, what does the software can do to help you with that and automate it? So even in Ed Soar, there's 41 vans, we got in there and looked at some processes and have improved his RO count on a daily basis and some staggering numbers. Like, I think it was 136 ROs in one day at that location. It's mobile.
Yes.
So
All right,
On the day that rained.
lightning round for the audience, for the dealers watching, 30 seconds, no more than that, starting with Ed. You're talking to another dealer who's considering getting into mobile and remote services. Ed, what advice would you give them? We'll go down the line.
So you have to look at it from a different angle. You have to look at it, what if you couldn't say no? When I did some research back in 2019, when we started to get heavier, we got mobile in 2015, we decided to make the switch in 19 to get heavier into it. 60% of the vehicles that came into our service department that didn't come in for an oil change never had the lift set on it. Well, if we don't set the lift on it in our shop, we don't need to do it in our shop. We can do it mobily. So if you couldn't say no, what would you do?
Jim?
It's a great, remote experience is a great option to take. Start slow. You're going to hit some roadblocks, challenges, make adjustments as you go, and it's going to be a successful program overall.
Tom Druzynski.
So when we first started looking at it, I struggled with how to crack the nut. I was looking at it from the dollars standpoint, right? Oil changes, tire rotations, like we're never going to get there. But a very smart man, Ed Roberts, told me start with recalls, start with special order parts. They're always at repair rates. They're at your warranty labor rates. So it makes it a lot less easier. You need a lot less work to be actual to
advice.
justify the cost of the vehicle. So that's a good place to start.
Nolan.
I mean, it's the future of the industry. I mean, I think any dealer or any group that's not getting on board at this point is going to be left behind. The demand is going to continue to increase, and the real opportunity is outside our walls, not inside of them.
You mentioned that for most dealerships, the future opportunity is outside its walls.
I truly believe that. Yeah.
That-
I think let us move your customers and your employees to and from your stores while you guys focus on servicing cars.
You got the last word.
Okay, last word. It starts with everybody in this room. Leadership. From the principal to the GM to the fixed ops director, service managers and advisors, they all have to get behind this for it to be successful. And the locations and dealerships that we see are most successful, you have that. You have this group sitting up here and most of you in this audience. So it's a very important piece for mobile to work.
All right.
I'm going to add one more piece of that. If you can't get into mobile service, get into pickup and delivery. And you don't need multiple people to do that. You can use Matthew to take your employee to pick that vehicle up and bring that vehicle back to service. Now you're setting yourself apart.
All right. Well said, everybody. So thank you for all of you to taking the lead in doing this. I'm Ted Ings. I'm here with Sarah Van Tyne. We're here at Uber headquarters in New York in the World Trade Center with the leaders of mobile and remote services, and we're going to be right back.